So three times. This is the period you get involved with Ozzy. Three times you auditioned with him. First time Randy Rhoads was there, and then there's Brad Gillis and Jake Ely. I mean, some people might have wondered why, after the first two editions, you wasn't bothered going back again. But was it really down in the end to you having your hair cut and Sharon not liking your green guitar?
Oh, it was those two things. Plus, I think it was just probably a personality thing too, and I think they really trusted Tommy Aldridge to kind of make the call, and Tommy made the call, and we talked about that afterwards and in later years that he was instrumental in really deciding that Jakey was the guy over me, and I have no hard feelings about it, and then he was probably right, that's fine. And those were the two things that were brought to my attention was my green, Sharon called booger guitar. And so now that guitar is now officially called the booger. And then my lack of follicles, I guess. But at the time, when Ozzy came to my hotel room one day, I remember he was sitting there and I couldn't, how he talks, I can hardly understand what he's saying. So I'm just nodding my head and trying to make a word out or two. But what I did get out of it is he was wondering about my hair, why my hair was so short. They were having a problem with that. So, but he was bald at the time.
It was partly due to the fact, wasn't it, that you actually had a job? I mean, you were working as well. I mean, you had a family to support, you had a mortgage to pay, and everything else. So, I mean,
I didn't have a mortgage. I wish I had a mortgage. No, I had. No, there was no mortgage. We actually, after that experience, and I've mentioned this in other interviews, but after that, when I finally got kicked out of the running, and they gave me the word that I wasn't going to be playing with them. My wife and I went home that night and went home to a eviction notice on our apartment door. And we didn't live in a very nice apartment to begin with, but yeah, so we had to end up moving in with her parents and try to get back on our feet. So yeah, it was tough. But the other thing that I wondered about at the time was like, why didn't I just get a wig?
Yeah.
I mean, there was a store actually right across from where we lived in our apartments down the street in Buena Park. It was called Disco Wigs, and they had the storefront window with all these wigs that maybe trans people would wear or people with cancer or something. I don't know, but anyways, there'd be like bright pink ones and this one and that one. But I could have got. I'm sure they had like a rocker wig, right? It's got one of those, and I wouldn't even have had to tell them, and they probably would have been fine with it. And then played a different guitar that didn't look like a booger, and done.